Hello.
What's up?
Welcome to 9 Months Out, the father and son podcast that hasn't done this in 9 months. What's up, G? It's been a minute since we've been on camera together. Pause, if necessary.
It's weird being back with the circumstances, definitely, of me leaving.
Oh, yeah. I should let me frame this up properly. So today is June 30th. We are 6 hours away from Dylan leaving this place for the last time. This place that we've called home for the last... We've been here for 5 years in this place? 4 or 5 years?
5 years?
Because, well, he's going to spend the second half of the summer with his mom, but he'll be going to college in a short time. But yeah, this is our last night together in this residence, and our last night essentially in this chapter that we have graduated from, literally and metaphorically. So tell us where you'll be going to college, sir, even though everyone knows because I don't take this hat off. Where's your Morehouse hat at? Matter of fact, go get your Morehouse hat, dog. Nah, man. I don't care, bro. You know what? I got one hanging up in my room if you want the beige one.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. While he goes and retrieves, it's in the closet hanging up on the, but it's underneath one of the hats. I'm not as emotional as I thought I was going to be, y'all. I thought it was going to be way worse. I'll tell you more about that in a second, but I'm actually okay. I've come to some conclusions and some understandings about this time period. Hey, it's like you hoop. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hey, boy put his draft cap on. Hey, put your head down, let him see, kid.
So I'm going to Morehouse College.
Morehouse College. What is it? You're a
Class of 2030.
Yeah, but you're a man. You're a man of Morehouse when you graduate. No, you're a Morehouse man when you graduate, and while you're there, you're a man of Morehouse, right? What's the order? Whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Which one?
Yes, I think it's man of Morehouse when you're there, Morehouse man when you graduate.
Yeah, okay. Talk to the people, about the experience, about how you came to be on the precipice of going to the greatest institution for black men in this country.
Honestly, when we were still doing our college applications, I heard about it, but I didn't really know too much about it, especially not what it meant in the grand scheme of actually going there. And so pretty late in the game, my dad was like, yo, let's play some Morehouse. And I was like, dang, another essay. But we did it, and I didn't think too much of it. Honestly. And then my dad texted me like, check your email, Dylan. I'm like, am I in trouble? What's up? I was hella scared. And then I see that I got in, and I didn't know what that meant at the time. I still honestly figuring that out, but I eventually went to the meta weekend, and I realized that honestly, I think that's where I'm meant to be. Just being, not even during the events, but just being on the campus, it felt so at home. It felt so comfortable, in not like in a challenging way. I feel like it felt comfortable in that while you're going to be you're going to be challenged by different people, and you're going to have the pressure of adapting to the whole new environment, being there. It's a comfortability in that this is somewhere you're gonna thrive at.
Yeah, if you meet the challenge. And we've been having so many conversations. I've tried to give you as much game as I possibly could. The last month. We actually have this book sitting here, The Four Agreements, because we've been reading it. There's so many things that I want him to know before he walks into this environment. And I think when I was going to college, I remember there really wasn't much dialogue about it. You know, we didn't really have. There was no game given. You know, my parents weren't really instrumental in telling me about scholarships and even what the collegiate process would even entail. Maybe that's because they didn't go to they didn't go to college, but there was nobody. And so I feel like in me, you have the best ally and advocate to give you understanding about the process, but also about personal growth and development. Not that I'm the best person in the world, but I know things, and the things that I know, I feel like you can benefit from. So I really just tried to like impart you with as much wisdom as possible in this last little stretch that we've had up until literally the night before you leave.
Yeah.
You know? So what have you learned about the significance and the importance of Morehouse to our community and society at large?
I definitely learned that Morehouse is a place where when you rise to the occasion, rise to the challenge of being at Morehouse and the challenges that come with that, that you're gonna become something of such a high caliber. And I've met some people at Morehouse and went to the Vineyard.
Look at you talking about the Vineyard, boy. That boy's a goodie.
Without really realizing it, I'm talking to all these people who are so successful and that have so much to give. And that's, of course, everyone is going to be successful in their own vein, in their own ways. But that caliber of success is really the bare minimum, it seems like, of going to Morehouse.
Yeah, it's different, bro. And I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back real quick, if you don't mind. Like I tell Dylan this all the time. I had a vision for him going to Morehouse about a year and a half ago. And I don't know, like he kept telling me he wanted to go to Howard, and I have great affinity for Howard University, right? My grandmother went to Howard University. She's a Delta. My sister went to Howard University, and so Howard is a special place, and I recognize it. But I just felt like for you, there were some things that you needed to be indoctrinated with that I felt like you could only get either at Morehouse or the military. And I know you ain't no military nigga. So I started to plant these little seeds. So last year, when I took Dylan to Martha's Vineyard, I was very strategic and calculated in putting him around all the brothers I knew who had gone to Morehouse. And I will acknowledge that coming up, all the dudes from Morehouse, to me, felt very pretentious and very elitist. And I didn't like men from Morehouse. As I've come to grow and understand life and the trials and tribulations of being a black man in this world and the confidence you have to have in order to not just exist, but to thrive, I think that men who have gone to Morehouse, men of Morehouse men, they exude a thing that I really want you to have. And so I'm really thankful that I had the vision, I had the foresight, and then I took action, and putting you in an environment that opened your eyes to what was possible, Yeah, before you even got in, I was like, I think Morehouse. And then when he got in, I'm like, do you even know what this means? And he was like, no. But everybody around him was like, you got into Morehouse? And I'm like, dog, you got into Morehouse. And it took some time, but I think that he finally gets it. And seeing you on campus, bro, that the first time, I felt a calm. And, this process for me has been very emotional at times. I thought that I would have more emotion today than I actually have. But you're right. You looked like you belonged. You looked very comfortable. It looked like home for you. which is wild. Do you have any emotions or any feelings about this being your last night living in Los Angeles in this chapter?
I want to say I feel anything strong, but I'm thinking it for sure. It's weird having this be after everything that I've been through from the beginning of moving in here. I have to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning or 5 a.m.
Yeah.
To trying to find somewhere to fit in middle school through high school, having to change who I am at the very highest level from you pushing me so hard in the good way, best way possible. It's weird being here in that we're done with that pretty much. Obviously, you're always gonna be there to support and parent and do your thing, but this chapter overall is done, and it's weird that we're here and that it's a wrap.
Yeah, it's our relationship has evolved so much over the years, and Dylan has become, while my son, I recognize that, and that I'm your parental figure, like I'm an authority in your life, but also I feel like from my end, you've become my closest friend, in the way that matters to me. Like I told you, we have the nonverbal communication. Like I can look at him and I know what he's thinking and he knows what I'm thinking, and we get it. And that's the one thing that I've missed the most living out here in LA, is because my closest friends are back east between Atlanta and DC. And so you have subsequently become the person with whom I have the most freedom around. And so I think more than anything, like more than missing my son, because I want, as a father, my job and my goal, the function of my title is to get you prepared for the world. I think more so than missing my son, I'm going to miss my friend. Like that's the biggest impact of your departure. And, it's healthy that you're going on. And I have like no sadness about it, ironically, because, when Josh left, I was a mess. So maybe that actually taught me a little bit of something just about, what to expect, but also I don't feel like I have that much left. I mean, I have tons of things that I want to tell you, but now it's time for you to go out and have certain experiences, and we can have dialogue about your experiences as opposed to me just telling you things, right? Like we can strategize, we can, summarize some of your experiences, and it's coming from a lived place for you as opposed to just my perspective. Yeah. And so I'm looking forward to being able to have those conversations and dialogues with you. Yeah, I'm incredibly proud of you. You got your things to work on. Yeah, like the version of you that did well in high school, you had a 4.1 GPA. I can't knock that, but that version of you is going to have to be, you have to raise your level several notches. Yeah. Like in a real way. So do you have any questions for me?
What is a characteristic of, at least what you see to be a Morehouse man, that you think I will embody, that you think I somewhat embody now, and that I will embody the most as I go to Morehouse?
Oh, that's a really good question. From what I know of Morehouse men, they finish tasks. They have a certain tenacity, and I don't think you're necessarily tenacious right now, but you have grit, and you meet challenges when they're given to you. And so I see that environment turning you into someone who is tenacious in a way that is good and healthy, not like in a hyper masculine, toxic sort of way, but in a way that makes you a killer of challenges and obstacles. You can be a little timid at times right now, but I see it in you. And I think that is what led me to believe that you needed to be in an environment that cultivates the next level of that grit for you. Because I'll tell you all the time, there's not a challenge that I've given you that you haven't met. Have you been late, with challenges? For sure. Have I had to put my foot in your ass? Yeah. For sure. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, you always arrive at a place of completion. And pause. But yeah, that's what I see. And then I'll even tell you, what I hope you become, like the characteristics of a Morehouse man that I'm hoping on the other side of this thing. And you made me a promise that you will graduate, and so I'm gonna hold you to your word. On the other side of this, I want you to know what you want. I think that is super important. When you identify what you want and you pair it with that tenacity that I think you'll develop and cultivate, I think the world is your oyster. You know, what do you want to study? Just for
Psychology.
Yeah. So whether you want to stick with psychology, you know, or you pivot to something else, as long as it ain't the thing we talked about. I'm telling you, yeah. You know, whatever you land on ultimately, I think you'll be uber successful because your heart is so good. So if you mix your heart, that thing you came to earth with, that wasn't developed by your mother, by me, by nothing other than God putting you here on earth, with tenacity and like a clear focus, I just think you're going to be unstoppable. And then you're going to start dressing better too. You're going to start dressing better. So you heard you were going to a college that was all men. Did that give you any pause, double entendre?
Yeah. Honestly, that was, without knowing how good of a school was beforehand, just knowing, like, mainly knowing that part, I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's what I want. But, I mean, knowing that Spelman, I have a Spelman right there, then Clark's right there, it feels... I feel like more comfortable.
Yeah, I bet you feel comfortable. He said, I have Spelman, I have Clark. All right, boy. Take it easy, champ. Take it easy. Not too much.
But, yeah, having those schools right there definitely... It definitely, having that such a big of a community like that, I think it's gonna help me find much more of, I guess I could say, like a home there, in a way, where there's so many pockets of people, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's college, boy. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see the expansiveness of blackness. You're gonna see the full spectrum of blackness. You're gonna see St. Louis black and Texas black and DC black, and you know, you're just gonna get a better understanding of what it means to be black. And we lived in LA, and you lived in the Valley. You went to school in the Valley, which is a very different experience than had you grown up below the 10. So I don't know that you had the blackest high school experience. I think you had a very multicultural one.
Yeah.
So at Morehouse and in the AUC as a whole, you're going to be exposed to a lot of different things, you know, and a lot of different ways to be black. Some of it will feel good. Some of it will feel comfortable. Some of it you'll be like, yeah, I don't rock with that. You know, like they're gonna be playing that Carisha shit. They're gonna be playing that Young Miami shit. You don't like that song, right?
It's just nah.
I
can't stand that song.
Yeah, I can't stand it either, which is why I love you, because you're my son. But there's a large faction of not just the AUC, but our community at large that loves that. And, you know, you're going to have to find a way to exist in that as well. And we've been reading the 4 agreements, right? So there's some language in there that tells you about not personalizing it and you know, like not making assumptions. You know, you can't make assumptions about the people who like that kind of music, because there's doctors and lawyers and all kinds of people who like that song.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see just where you land upon. Tell me about the scholarship process. Just, I want you to speak to my contributions to the scholarship process, not in full, but just what it's been like to have a real partner in the process of applying and then figuring out the financial side of things.
It's definitely been a process. It's been I want to say like at least for me personally, evolution in a way of writing. These past 2 years in high school, I haven't had either. My English teacher last year was like on maternity leave for half the year, and this year my English teacher just wasn't good at all, honestly. So really, you were my English teacher, honestly, and so I could say that through all those essays, of you helping me like see things in different perspectives, helping me understand writing structure, it's made me I feel more confident. Obviously not the best, but I'm more confident in my writing now compared to how I was just 4, 5, 6 months ago. It hasn't been fun, honestly. It's definitely been challenging. That's helped me grow exponentially compared to where I was writing in the beginning of the school year. I was not great. It was bad. But
Yeah.
but where I'm at now, I have a better foundation of improving, definitely. And with the scholarships themselves, it's been, I guess, a bit eye-opening seeing how many bigger or smaller pockets of money there are out there. I always heard from my teachers or whoever, like, oh, there's like millions of dollars in scholarships out there. And then, but like, you don't really, you don't always feel that exposed to that, or you don't always really feel that. But going through this process with my dad gave me random scholarships, just finding it from like some counselors, it's like, oh, there's really money out there that is up for grabs. And yeah, you got to just go out there and do it.
I didn't have that. I'm not blaming anybody. You know, I think I just had parents who were unfamiliar with that process. And even if they had familiarity with it, they certainly weren't about to sit down next to me and help me, you know, formulate my scholarship essays or anything like that. So it never got done. And I've always just tried to parent you the way that I think that I should have been. You know, I've tried to invest in you in this process in a way that I wish that I had. I probably would have been able to avoid quite a few things or reduced the amount of debt that I had, or, you know, any of those things. And so I'm really trying to put you on a pathway to success. And ultimately, like, college is a beautiful experience. It's all of the things. But the goal is to walk out of that thing with as little debt as possible. And financially, you don't come from a wealthy family. Yeah. You know, you don't come from that. So I want to make sure that you're put in a position to, you know, get your degree and also not have the burden of debt on your back once you cross that stage, you know, 4 or 5 years from now, however long it takes you. But yeah, I wish that I had like somebody, like I said earlier, giving me game. Game is important. Yeah. Tell me about the experience of walking across that high school graduation stage. You were very emotional on the other side of it. I didn't record that. Also, yeah, tell me about that. And then I got something to say to your ass that I have never told you, but I'm going to say it to you on camera.
Okay. It felt definitely accomplishing. And I felt so proud, definitely. And not just high school in and of itself, but just everything around these past 4 years that I've had to grow and adapt to, whether it's socially, academically, personally, at home. I felt it all culminated into this one moment, and it was a lot to process. Definitely, I'm still kind of am, but it felt good having all those moments lead up to that, where it's like you did it.
Yeah.
You know?
I kept asking you, you know, if you had any emotions. You said, no, I'm cool. No, I'm good. And then after, you know, they say, class of 2026, when I finally found you on the field, you were crying. Yeah. Like big tears, like big ass tears. And you know, I asked you then what was at the root of those emotions, and you told me. I don't know if you want to share it now, but you know, it's very seldom that you emote that way. So for me, it was just like, oh wow, like like he gets it. I was like, I kept trying to tell you, like, yo, it's like a real thing, you know. And it's a very final feeling when you're like, oh snap, like I'm done with these people?
Yeah, that was a really big part of it for me. That, well, they're not completely out of my life. Like, this chapter with these people is over, and what felt like was gonna last forever is done.
Yep.
And it was a lot.
I know. Now, what I want to tell your black ass is that when they announced that, ceremony over 2026, you did not seek out your family. Do you recognize that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Niggas was looking for you. We were looking. I stood up on the chair. I'm like, yo, yeah, bruh, don't you ever in a moment like you seek family and then you go connect with them jokers. Order of operations, G.
You're right. Yeah. I was really caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I dig it, but no.
No, yeah, I get it though. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't say it to you. I didn't want to burst your bubble, especially in that moment, like whatever, how your thing. But like going forward,
yeah, definitely.
FOE, bro, family over everything. Okay, what else? What else is there to talk about? Okay, so you want to study psychology. What do you want to do with that?
Right now, I know that I want to get into more. Want to lead to a therapist. Want to get more like behavioral psychology. I want anybody to be able to be understood, because I know at times it's hard to understand yourself. And so I think that having someone else be able to look inside you and talk to you, to your heart, and be able to really feel you and get you is, I feel that's powerful. And when you do it to me,
hey yo,
well, pop.
hey yo, hey yo.
When you talk to me, to my heart directly,
yeah, there you go. And still, hey yo, nah, but go ahead.
But when you talk to me directly to my heart, I can feel understood when at times I can't understand myself in certain moments. It feels, even if it feels harsher, a lot, it's comforting that in a world of so much confusion in my mind, that someone's there to get me and to understand who I am and where I can grow to become the person that he knows I am at my core and that I could become.
Yeah. Well, that was well stated, bro. I didn't that was a new perspective. I mean, it's a long road to becoming, a clinical therapist, but like that's 8 or 9 years of college.
I know.
Okay. That's
I know.
Okay. All right. I selfishly want to ask you about something that warms my heart. You wrote me 2 letters. One for my birthday, one for Father's Day. And I'm pretty sure that I, in the past, told you like writing a letter would be something fly. But I never was like, write me a letter, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not that. But what went into that? Like, what was what made you choose to do that?
Like write a letter?
Yeah. And not just one, but like 2. Like,
I felt that I wanted to materialize how I felt about you, and I felt like a letter was the best way to do that. I feel a lot of things.
no, you just stop. Yeah, my fault. I didn't mean to dirty the waters.
I feel a lot of things in my heart in when it comes to you, and it's complicated, a lot of it, but a lot of it comes from how special and how much you meant to me these past 6 years especially. And so at least in small bursts, I wanted to be able to form it in a way that you can understand and that you could see better into my mind, because I feel like I feel like I may not always show the strongest how much I actually love you. And I feel I wanted to be able to I wanted to give you a better glimpse that I wanted to show you better that how much you mean to me, and you mean a lot. So that's why I felt like a letter written out and being able to pour my heart out into it, I felt was the best way to really capture what I felt.
Yeah, man, they were both beautifully well written and very concise and very clear, which I really, really appreciated. And I felt all the things that you wanted to convey. Reading them, man, I was like, oh wow, like, as a parent, you never know how it's going to turn out. I feel like I've done a phenomenal job. I know that I've done a phenomenal job. I don't even say I feel like. I know that I've done a phenomenal job. But ultimately, like, the person who gets to decide that is you. And so while I do feel valid in the way that I've shown up for you as a father, it was very validating for you to affirm me in those letters, the ways in which you did. And no, I don't always, you don't always show how you feel, but I'm so connected to you that I know how you feel. I know your mind, and I know your heart extremely well. And so I know you appreciate it. And I know I'm challenging for you because I'm here to challenge you as your father. And then I'm also just challenging because I have all my quirks and different things about me specifically. But yeah, I was so blown away. I was so thankful. I feel like our relationship is really the one I wanted with my parents. It really is, yo. I feel like you can be your full self around me. There's no part of you that you have to turn off around me. Maybe sometimes you feel like you got to be the best version of yourself, but per the four agreements, we should always be aspiring to be ourselves. But you can be silly, you can be funny, you can curse, you can be emotional. Like, you don't have to shelve any part of yourself in my presence. And I think that is the defining aspect of the healthiest kind of parent-child relationship. Like, I get to see the full breadth of your personality.
Yeah.
And you mine. You see all the, like,
yeah.
Whether, what I'm saying, like, super silly, super serious, angry, sad, happy, joyful, whatever. You see, my life. You know me. Like, for real. Like, there's no people. If somebody were to say something about me, you would be like now, you'd be like, I know that guy. You can't tell me that. Like, you know what I'm saying? On a heart level, which I think is fly. Okay. So we talked about Morehouse, talked about high school, our relationship. Yeah, I think we
touched all bases.
Yeah. We did it. We did it. Which is why I'm not so sad. I'm emotional, but the emotion isn't sad, you know, because we did it. Like I told you the other day, bro. Like I feel like I exhausted all the things that I wanted to do and wanted to give. You know, we've traveled the country, the world, and the country. You know, I introduced you to things and thinkings. I showed you who I am. I learned who you are. I gave you game. I talked to you about real shit. We had fun. Like, I got you on course. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah. Are there things that I wish I would have done better? Of course. Different, sure. But ultimately, I'm satisfied. I'm like really satisfied that this chapter of my life went the way that it did. And you and even Josh are the most tangible evidence of all that I am. I raised 2 black boys in Los Angeles, California by myself, and they've both gone on to premier colleges. Like, you know, like everything else I do from here on out is just gravy, bro. And so, you know, whether you take what we've done the last 6 years and you soar with it, which of course I hope you do, or you take it and you like you mad all, you know, and it's just real mid. I gave you all the tools and resources to have whatever you want in this life. Same for Jay. Like, ultimately. So what do I have to be sad about?
Yeah.
Nothing. You know? My son is my closest friend. Nigga writes me love letters. Yeah. That's it, bro. Now it's just about getting you to a place of being financially independent and financially abundant. And I'm super Gucci. Yeah. All right. Well, even though we took 6 months off of the 9 months off podcast, yeah, thank y'all for being a part of this journey and this experience and watching this young man here grow into a future Morehouse man. You know, there's so many people out there who have been rooting us on and supporting. You know, we went out the other day, people like, you have no idea how many people are just a fan of you because you shine through so clearly. People can see who you are even if they've never met you before. You are who you are. And so thank y'all for for all the love and support and suggestions. Anybody who's helped us these last 6 years in any way, shape, or form, whether that was watching Dylan, trying to help us find scholarships, giving us information, resources, whatever it was. If you know you were a part of our orbit in any way, shape, or form, thank you. Because this was a daunting task, but without the community that we have, you know, a lot of it wouldn't have been able to happen the way that it did. So, forever indebted to you, son. This was fly. This was a fly 6 years, G.
And thank you, cause I don't know where I would be at this moment in time if I wasn't with you. I can't imagine being any better version of myself right now than aside from how you helped me these past 6 years. And of course I still have things I'm going to work on that needs to work on, but I'm happy that throughout all of that you were there and that you were so loving. And maybe for a time in the beginning, it was kind of hard for me to see that because your love was so, kind of how I said in my letter, you love, I guess, aggressively in a way. But I realized that all this, like, this is love. This is how you love at the very least. And you show, and it's a lot of it. Yeah. And so thank you for that, for all your love, all your support, for all your everything, everything that you done for me, done for Josh, for us. Thank you. You've done an incredible job.
All right, now you made me emotional. We out of here. Bye. Trying to get me. Should we clap?